Welcome to the Command Center podcast. I'm Logan Paulson here with Fred Smoot and Santana Moss.
Yep.
And for guys watching, listening, whatever you guys are doing, the fans, we still have that email. ThatHawkOustide@gmail.com. That'll be, that'll be in the description, and we're taking requests for shirts. I think that's coming to a close here kind of any day now. And then we've got a ton of great support on that, by the way. We've got thousands of emails. We're really excited. And make sure you're leaving show ideas there. That'll be awesome too. And then also, we have a live show coming up, and June 14th. We don't have a venue yet, but please stay tuned and keep watching the podcast. We'll make that announcement probably on here, but we can't wait to kind of get to meet you guys and hang out in person. But now let's get to the show. One thing we were talking about before we started is your guys' draft class.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you said, how many Hall of Famers are in your draft class?
We got securely right now 4 to 5 and probably like 5 more on deck.
And so it's really funny because we did something about your draft class earlier. And so who are some names from your draft class, just real quick? Let's start with receiver. Let's start with receivers.
Oh, so many receivers.
So if I just start off from the first round into the, just names that I know of, we had
David Terrell, Corn
Robinson, your boy who was here,
Rod Gardner,
myself,
Reggie Wayne, Steve Smith, Chad Johnson.
I think it's interesting that the guys that were really good were the guys that were picked later.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
most
saying?
definitely. Chris Chambers.
We talked about Chris Chambers.
Yeah.
We had just a speedy punt returner too. Dante Hall.
Yep, Dante.
Was he
Dante
your class?
Hall. Yeah.
So was this like, I don't know, it's hard to say, but was your class like, it feels like just based on some of those names, kind of generational.
It was generational.
We changed the league around. You got to think about it. I came in as a first round pick at 5'9".
Yep.
5'9.5". And they were saying that at the time that I was too short to even be a top 10 pick. They didn't see a guy my size coming in and being a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
The guys who went in the top 10, Corey Robinson, David Terrell, and even the
guys
who went in front of me, Rod Gardner, those guys were all taller. You know what I mean? So when me and Steve Smith was able to be successful as 5, because I think both of us hit it our same year. I know Steve Smith out the gate, he was a Pro Bowl as a special teamer our rookie season.
Yeah.
But as a receiver, if I'm not mistaken, don't quote me, I remember I had my first 1,000 yards in year 3.
Yeah.
That was like year 2 of me playing. I didn't play my first year. Steve, if I'm not mistaken, JC might have to pull this up. He either had 1,000 yards either year 2 or year 3 as well.
Year 2.
If you think about it, us at that size, primarily outside. We played
not slots.
We didn't play in the slot. We played outside. It changed the whole spectrum of how they view guys. Smaller receivers coming to the league.
And not all just oddities. You got me, skinny, corner. Then you got Michael Vick, not the tallest quarterback, but he run a 4.240. You got Drew Brees, who's don't fit any numbers. He's too short.
Yep.
All right, so we had some oddities in our class. Then we had Steve Hutchinson at the offensive line. Like we had offensive linemen. We had all kinds like
Deuce McAllister.
like
Damian Thomason.
So we had like all kinds of dudes.
Travis Henry.
Richard Seymour. Yeah, big Marcus Scrod.
Dude, that's
what
crazy.
big boy name from Florida? We had
Alex Brown.
Not just Alex
the
Brown.
Rolodex of names
too,
over here.
D lineman.
From which one?
From Florida had the always.
That was Alex Brown.
No, not Alex Brown. That's
you talking about big boy? Played D tackle.
Yeah, he played D tackle.
Yeah,
was
Warren?
Yeah,
big Gerald Warren. And we had Dan Morgan.
Dan Morgan came from my class,
in our class.
Linebacker.
So obviously these names they're lost on me because I'm too young.
Yeah.
But if you are familiar with these names, you're like, man, that dude was sick.
Yeah, Dan Morgan was sick.
All those names
Leave a
we
comment,
out
please.
had great seasons. Like they was
great careers.
Great careers.
Yeah.
Todd Heap.
Todd Heap is wild. That's a wild one. I mean, just like because he was like maybe the best at the position. Like LT was maybe the best at the position.
Yeah.
Steve Smith. You mentioned Chad Johnson,
Michael Vick,
Hutchinson. Yeah, like the whole thing. It's so weird.
Richard Seymour, best D tackle.
When you kind of tie it all back to the same draft class. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's just wild, man. You were talking about a Heisman class too, right? Who was it? You were 7th in the Heisman.
I was 7th in the Heisman race.
And who was 9th?
You were not 9th. There's no way you were 9th.
I believe Chris Winkie won our class. So Chris Winkie was also
Chris Winkie with us.
Yeah. Chris Winkie came out that year also with us.
Yeah, I mean, that's just...
He won the Heisman that year. I believe Vic was second or third.
Yeah.
You know, so.
I just think it's so crazy how, like, the guys that were drafted really high, like, weren't necessarily, like, the best guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's never like that. It never draft.
And I always think that that's why, like, having good scouts and good people in the building is super important.
I'm glad you spoke about that, because that was, if I had one thing I always thought about throughout my career was owning up to where I was drafted. So, you know, like, it was like that was one of the things that hunted me. I can't say it hunted me, but I thought about it every day.
Really?
Because I got hurt out the gate. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I got hurt before I played a game in the NFL. So to not have that season and see everybody else playing, you know, think about it. Snoop Minnis, also a receiver.
Snoop
he was in our class. I remember having my brace on my true rookie season, and I'm sitting on the sideline. Huh?
What'd you do to your knee?
I had a lateral meniscus tear.
Oh, okay.
I tore so much that...
Did they cast it?
So what we did was, back then, they wanted to carve me out and have me back out there in 4 weeks. I went home for a second opinion, and I came back with surgery already. Because my guy told me, he said, Tanner, if I send you back up there, you'll probably last 6 years. Or if that. He said, if I save your meniscus right now, they're going to be mad with you, but I'm going to give you a longer career.
Dude,
I ended up playing 14
I will say
years.
this, the way they used to do meniscus is now, looking back on it, crazy. You just straight snip that sucker out.
And keep it moving.
And then it's like, you're just straight bone on bone.
So it's so crazy that we're talking about it, because even with me having the surgery, after the season, I had to have another surgery because a piece of it didn't attach. So I had a body floating in there to where, so I had 2 surgeries before I even got a chance to play football.
Dang.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's wild, man. But I didn't realize, because you're a guy to me that, like, you're pretty chill. Yeah. But like that dug at you.
Yeah, it dug at me. It bothered me. And that's why I said I was so anal about my preparation. That's what made me the guy. I mean, I was already him as far as getting ready, preparing myself for each season. But I was more on that than anything, because I didn't want to be a failure at being a first-round pick.
Do you think you're Santana Moss without that adversity?
Now, everything needs to happen.
Everything happened for a reason, bro. Like, if you saw how I got here,
what they had for me.
If you saw how I got here, that alone made me who I am. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So Tana's telling this heartfelt story with real information.
Then you got Fred interrupting over
here. He said, I don't know if we can put this on the screen, but like, it's a picture of Fred for Heisman, #2.
Let me see.
I don't know where the hell you found it.
It was
you made this yourself.
No, I took a picture of it.
This is not a billboard.
It was a billboard in Mississippi. I told you.
Not a billboard.
It was Deuce for Heisman.
Fred is a fool.
No, it was Deuce for Heisman, and it was Smoot for Heisman.
I tell y'all one thing though, man. Being that I played Wade in Miami, and didn't know nothing about no other conference, but the Big East, which I was in, the ACC because Florida State was in, and SEC because Florida was in that. I heard Smoot name so much, man. So he ran our college. For 4 years I was there, you heard Fred Smoot doing something. So Fred was that dude, man.
Yes, see, he's too young. Props, man. He's too young to know what I had going on.
Fred backed it up, man. He talked a lot of junk, but he went out there and played some good football, man.
Oh my gosh!
And I played it doing
so you're no BS.
No BS. I was hyped up coming out of college.
No. Thank you, Jason.
I was very hyped.
Jason, that's why
I believe it.
We're just checking because he said 9th. He was very specific about it.
I'm looking at his stats because I knew you.
No, listen, I was that boy in college. Now, I know you young.
That boy.
I know you young.
Well, I can't say anything because I didn't do anything in college.
Yeah.
Except,
my generation was, Smoot. If you say cornerback, they're going to bring my name up.
Yeah.
So you know how, like, you go to, like I told you, we always shared a story about us going to the Playboy All-American. And the way you know when guys respect guys, they're going to respect guys who they feel like he got something.
Yeah.
I knew Fred's name before I got up there. I'm like, this damn Fred Smoot. And he showed me love out the gate. So I said, oh, okay, that's respect. I like that. Yeah. But I heard him talk to everybody else. You're going to have to bleep that.
It's not surprising at all.
But I was laughing to myself.
Because I knew all things about him. I had to study them all. Like,
Fred was telling people their whole background, what they can do, what they can't do.
Yeah.
Oh, Freddie Millens, you only can do this. See, they got to give you the ball. See, you can't run routes like them boys down in Miami had to you. And I'm sitting there like, man, who is Freddie?
No, he can't run routes. But if you throw him a screen, he'll turn it into a touchdown.
Were you doing that on purpose, or is that just how you were? Like,
that's just how I am.
Bro, he just was like, he wasn't trying to get under your skin.
Yeah, he just was talking.
That's why I tell him, I say, bro, I know your cousins hated you when they was growing up. He says he's the only child, so I wouldn't want to see him. I'm going to my grandma's house. I got to see him. I ain't want to see him.
I'm sitting on the couch.
I don't want to see this, dude.
Come on in.
What we got, Jason?
Yeah, good season in 2000 with Mississippi State.
2001. No, it would be 2000.
It'd be 2000. Yeah. You had 5 interceptions, and you didn't give up a touchdown.
Yeah.
Fred was that dude, man.
Pretty good.
And that was coming off his play
and that's coming off a junior year, which I had a better junior year.
So was he really up for the Heisman? Was that? Can we like?
I don't know. I'll search that.
Yeah. Can we like?
I just showed you confirmation.
That's
Fred, all that.
That's memorabilia.
I almost just cursed. All that stuff you just showed me, I thought you could have made that yourself.
I didn't.
Hold on. The crazy part about it, this is not script. We didn't come in here saying we was gonna talk about.
We ain't gonna talk about.
And he got it already in his phone, so it's like
because it's history.
It's also
it's part of my history.
You got to give him the benefit of the doubt.
That's
true. It is true.
Thank you.
It is true.
You got to give him the benefit of the doubt.
I just thank you, man, because you was an offensive player, but I was closer to the Heisman than you.
Dude, I wasn't close to anything. Like I know exactly what I was. I'm just happy to be here, man. Just happy to sit in between 2 great football players. I'll tell you that. Also, Tanny, you said something crazy.
Yeah.
And Fred, this is true, right? What he said about him being, what was it?
So I was the Big East offense and special teams player of the year.
And you're the only person.
I was the only person to ever do that, first and last, because Big East no longer have a football.
And the other person that you shared the offensive player with was Mike Vick.
Mike Vick.
Our classmate.
Yeah.
I knew you guys were both beasts, but like when you hear stuff like that, you're like, damn.
And bro, I'm gonna tell you the truth. And the whole thing about this, even leading up to the whole Heisman thing, this is factual. You can ask Bush Davis himself.
Yeah, because we have to fact check each other on this show. Can't nobody just tell the truth.
So Bush Davis called me into the office going into my senior year.
Yeah.
It's the summer. We out there training, bust out behind. He was like, hey man, I just want to let you know, if you're gonna take this, you got to take this magazine cover because you're up for the Heisman this year. And I was like, no. He's like, what you mean? No. I was like, man, I don't want that. I don't want to take the picture. I don't want to be up for the Heisman. He's like,
was it the ESPN magazine?
I'm not even sure what it was, but I know I remember.
Because they had fire coming out.
I remember being on it and doing a move, and he was like, "Bro, this is good for the school. It's going to bring us attention." But I'm superstitious.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, if I get on these covers and something happened, and out the gate I twist my ankle the first game of the season.
Yeah.
So here I am, and it bothers me. Like he told me, we had a little saying. Coach Davis told one of our trainers, if Tanner could walk, he's playing. So I played the next 4 or 5 games that season.
Limping.
Mm-hmm. And I remember they was writing me off in the paper, oh, Tanner having the worst senior season. I'm like, I'm not getting any passes. I'm out here to be a decoy. So we can't double Reggie. You understand? Mm-hmm. And I remember I went home and my trainer told me, he said, look, bro, he would give me treatment every day. And he said, Tanner, in 5 weeks, you're going to feel like yourself. And he circled the game. He said, look what game we have in 5 or 6 weeks. It was Florida State. Mm-hmm. So I went home and I'm praying. I'm like, bro, I just want to be half of myself Florida State week. And I go out there and I had that 100 yards. Yeah. And if y'all want to know why I was emotional when I said big time players step up in big games, I was emotional because you heard what I said. I say, freak all the criticism, but big time players step up in big games. I was getting criticized for being hurt.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't get off. Yeah. I wasn't doing nothing. I was just out there.
Yeah.
So they were saying, oh, he's not doing anything. It's his senior year. And that was the game.
Yeah.
I had 100 yards and I didn't look back.
Yeah. And then still 7th in the Heisman voting.
Yeah.
And then Fred was 9th.
Yeah, because you don't believe.
I don't know.
I think you don't believe in the allure of a young Fred Smoot, like the college Fred.
I'm starting to get a picture of it, but like I don't know, man.
The thing is so crazy though, because Fred came with a lot of hype, and it was almost like not the Mike Vick, but the LeBron James. Like when you see somebody, you're like, oh damn, this dude's supposed to be all world, there. And then you see him out there, and I'm watching him on SportsCenter, Fred Smoot on down SportsCenter. I'm like, well, this ain't really playing. He can really play. You know what I mean? So, but then to get in the same building with him, oh my God, I was just like, if I had to hit this dude, man, I hope it comes off a different way. Because I take that kind of stuff, that chatter, wrong most of the time. But he's a good person, so I never took it that way from him.
And I love challenges. So I always went out there, like, if they tell me this the best receiver, I want to work out with him. Like, that was my thing.
Jason
all
got
the time.
some news.
Jason's got news?
Yeah, I don't know how good this source is, but you did an Ask Me Anything on Reddit 8 years ago.
Yeah,
and someone commented one there that they were a student at Mississippi State when you were there.
Yeah.
And they had a Smoot for Heisman bumper sticker.
Yeah, because the whole campus had
they
them.
wanted you to sign.
Yeah, the whole campus made them.
He was the dude.
I believe that it's out there. Some dude said it's out there. Yeah. So There was at least a campaign for it.
All right. He was out there. All right. He was out there. I respect it.
He don't want to give me no love.
Just defensive players in general.
We don't get no love.
I know what I'm saying. It's just
but
like.
See, that's why I yapped.
Yeah.
That's the main reason I yapped, because they'll say we good, but they won't give us any of the offense stuff.
Fred's a good salesman. He knew how to get himself.
Hell yeah.
He knew how to put the light on him, and then he went out there and backed it up.
Yeah, I think that's one of my favorite stories about you was at the Senior Bowl. And they said you were killing all the receivers, and they brought you over to the other practice.
Yeah,
like, right,
to go against Chad.
I'll do it. I mean, that's awesome, man. All right, so that's kind of concluding our story time interlude.
I like them story time.
Yeah, it's great.
You need to add that into
story time. It's a segment.
Yeah,
it's fan recommendation. Anyway, so in Commanders news, we have a new director of player personnel, David Blackburn, and he is a former Baltimore Raven.
I like
there for 17 years.
From the Ravens.
I do too, man. And it's not like
janitor. I want him too.
And it's not like he was just a guy. He was the director of college scouting in Baltimore.
Yeah.
And talk about a job that is taxing. Like I've had every stop I've had, I kind of would go talk to the director of college scouting just to get a feel.
Yeah.
They not only have to evaluate 300 plus college athletes, but they are responsible for all of the regional scouts.
Yeah.
So, the way that we divide up the country here with Washington, or they used to with the old staff, is like there's a director of everybody, west of the Mississippi. There's a director of everybody east of the Mississippi. They all have people that report to them for like regionals. They kind of divided up almost by state, number of schools. And it's your job as the director of college scouting to distill all of that information, make reports for all the athletes. Now, again, you can, what do they call that? Delegate some of that, some of those tasks to, like your people that work under you, but then you have to present it to the offensive and defensive coaching staffs and the head coach. So he wasn't just like a guy. He was like
guy.
He was like doing the dang thing there. Now he's the director of pro scouting, which is like, I think some people would consider a promotion for him, but he did that for 17 years at an organization that is known for
drafting
extremely well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm just like, man, we're just getting, we're getting more good people from good organizations that have an opportunity to kind of help solidify this culture.
They saying good players ain't enough. Yeah. They saying good coaches ain't enough.
We know
we
that,
need good from the top to the bottom.
Yeah.
They understand we're not trying to have a good season.
Yeah.
We're trying to have a good couple of decades.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to do it to the point where when you're doing things right, when other people try to come pay and steal the people that's working for you. Well, we're going out to the top people and we're getting them.
Yeah.
Like, that don't mean we're going to keep them for 20 years, but we're getting them.
Yeah.
And I think they understand now that it's way deeper than just coaches in football. It's way deeper.
I mean, we've been talking about this for so many years when it comes to how to run a business. How are you going to run it? If you got one part of it rolling or, and the other part of it is basically a cancer or toxic, it kind of trickles down into the part that's doing well. So that's what I see right now. These guys, they came in here and they say, look, man, you already say we got an F grade when it comes to our facility.
Yep.
We're going to change that. You say we got things going on at the stadium that people not liking, we're going to change that.
Yeah.
You say we need this and that stuff as staff people, CPAs, all that stuff, we're going to change that.
Yep.
They're from top to bottom. They're trying to make this thing something that not just the players can come over here and be happy with, but the fans can appreciate what they're doing, because in order for you to have a great team, you got to have people who knows how to get the right players. And when you see this guy's track record, 17 years stands out more than anything.
Yeah.
And you put a little humor behind it. It almost feels like, how you stayed with your grandma?
Yeah.
And that one cousin that had to leave his mom's house, that was a pretty good over there. And he came over to stay with y'all. And he was that cousin that could cook, clean, and do everything. So he just made everything better for you. So he keeps talking about the Baltimore Ravens, our cousins.
Yeah.
He came on over here to stay with grandma with us.
Yeah. We ain't had no analytics. We'll bring some analytics.
Just make life a little easier for us over here,
Yeah, but I think that's a great point, Tanner, because all the teams that are like in the show, you know what I'm saying? The 49ers, Philadelphia Eagles, Detroit Lions, Baltimore Ravens, like those four teams are four excellent rosters. Now, obviously, Kansas City's a little bit of an outlier because they found a great quarterback. But in terms of you need people from those organizations to kind of say, hey, this is how we build it. This is how we identify talent. This is how we ensure that we're going to be on that track sooner rather than later. So another interesting thing about him, DePaul University graduate with a degree in economics, smart man, and a minor in history. So, like school.
Oh, we can talk
4-year starter at cornerback, team captain, and only 4-time All SCAC selection in school history. Southern Collegiate Athletic Conference, for those of you at home keeping score.
Dope.
Yeah.
So I like that he's got the football background.
That's
So
dope.
smart dude, football player. I mean, again, like
He got a half a talent.
Who was the guy we did last week? Sansa?
Yeah.
Like, that dude's resume was impeccable.
Yeah.
This guy's resume is, to me, exactly what you want.
Everything you want.
So that's always
Basically mirrors each other. You know?
Yeah.
Qualified guys doing qualified things, and that builds trust.
Yeah.
If the coaching staff know, I ain't got to be looking at that. We got the right guys in there. They gonna handle that in season, off season, don't matter.
How many years we was here and we saw a guy too that we knew should have been on our team that didn't get kept.
We say it all the time. Like, a guy that we should have paid.
Yeah, we understand it's different. It's deeper than that because it's money that's dealing with it, and it's players that you know roster spots. But it just shows you, man, that even players who play this game long enough have an eye. So it's great to know this guy has a background and he's been doing well for a long time.
And we're not saying this is going to be the magic bullet, but it just is. It's nice when the process is correct. You know what I mean? Hiring good people, bringing the right type of people, and it's not just one guy trying to make all the decisions.
It's a group of them.
Correct.
And it's the right ingredients to a good dinner.
Yeah.
Like, you got to have the right ingredients. If you don't got the right ingredients, by the time you cook it, no matter how good the cookie is, that food nasty.
Yeah.
And that's what we've been serving. We've been serving these sack lunches for years over here. Now we got all you can eat buffet. Come on in here. And we slowly putting the cooks in there and letting them cook.
So yeah, needless to say, we're pretty stoked about it. But you know, these are the type of decisions that pay dividends down the road, not necessarily
Not today.
this season. But in terms of this season,
Yes.
we got OTAs. Boys.
OTA.
Yeah.
OTAs are happening. I went out to practice last week. One thing I want to run by you guys real quick. I know you had to go to Florida. You had some stuff going on.
Yeah.
One of the things is Jaden threw 2 interceptions in the red zone last week. Like, reason for concern or
I don't care.
yeah, why?
This is the time to everything you want to try.
I want to throw 10 of them.
To try it now.
Throw it right now.
Like, if you're going to make the mistake, make
Get 'em
them
out of
now.
that
Make them
system.
now. Make them now. Make
Yeah.
you like.
Yeah. But
This is the learning curve.
The reason I really want to bring it up is because, like, I think people hear like, oh, red zone, and there's no context. But to me, red zone,
It's tighter to-
especially
yeah.
early in the offseason, favors
The defense.
The defense.
Yes.
Because they got. You could just talk about that.
All right, well, think about it. All right, if they hit the 5-yard line, the end zone is only 10 yards deep.
Yeah.
All right, we don't backpedal.
Yeah.
All right, every decision is made in tenths of a second. Every window that quarterback throws in, it can start that big. It's going to end that small.
Yeah.
All right, and when you're in the red zone, tips are everything. If you can get if the D line can get a hand on the ball, if the DB can get a hand on the ball, we usually gonna turn that ball over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so the windows are smaller, everything's done so quick, and you got to make a decision. That's what I think he's learning right now. Hike the ball. I got probably 3-4 tenths of seconds to make my decision, and I got to live with it.
Yeah.
Even if that decision is throwing the ball out the back of the end zone.
Yeah.
That's why, as a receiver, I hated the closer we got to the end zone because now
It takes away your deep
me out
threat.
the game.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, and especially if you're not throwing me no jump balls, not using my ability to go up for the ball, then I'm not a use. So I love when we could cross that 50 and we still throwing bombs from the 25 or from the 30. But when you get in those close areas, those close
hard.
proximities, man, it's tough. And for a young guy, if he's going to learn it now.
Yes.
Get that out your system now because right now we're not even in real pass. You don't have bodies flying at you the way you would see in a regular, drill practice against the teams. First team was, going against second team or whatever. But I'm happy because we talked about this before we got on the show. Who cares about what goes on in OTA? That's why we have OTAs.
Yep.
Because we want you to get in here and learn the system, get in here and get, I guess you can say, get your timing together. All that stuff plays a part of your game now. Because by the time we get here, when live bullets are flying around, that's when I'm going to be concerned. That's when I'm going to be worried about how you looking.
But also this. Let's be honest. If there was Selma team in OTAs, he ain't pull it out the legs. Because that's the one thing he has that when it don't turn out the way he wanted to be in the red zone, he gonna run.
Yeah.
Like, so he wasn't weaponizing it. He was like, all right, I got to throw this ball. I'm going to throw this ball.
Yeah.
So I think people need to take it for what it was because we hear a lot of people talking about Caleb Williams threw 6 picks at a practice. I don't care.
Yeah.
I just don't care.
Yeah, and I was going to say the other thing about the red zone specifically is like that's a game plan phase of the game for the offense, right? Like you're going to scheme up. You're going to say, oh, this is how they run their quarters. These are the plays we're going to run. We're going to have kind of designated stuff. You're not running just general offense there. And they looked to me like they were running pretty general offensive stuff, which puts them in a hard spot. You can't run the football. You can't run. You can't scramble. So it's all kind of, it favors the defense big time. And again, like you were saying, Fred, like, Caleb Williams threw 12 interceptions, but I
can care less.
Like, it's practice, man. He's learning a new offense.
It's the best too, because you gotta understand, especially in the world we in today, when it comes to social media, all this stuff is clickbait.
Yeah.
So if you see somebody up there doing well, we gonna praise him. We gonna send him to the Pro Bowl already. The season ain't started. He's gonna be a Pro Bowl player. He's gonna be a Hall of Famer. I want these guys to, I guess, progress on the time that they're ready to progress. You know what I mean? I don't want to see I don't want to see us crown anybody so quick.
They do.
And when you're desperate, which we are up here in this area, we're desperate. So we're going to crown whoever. As soon as you bring the guy in, he's ready to go out there and do it. No, give him his time.
That's why I kind of like the cloud that's around Jaden, because as his hype people is, it don't got that. I guess I was here when RG3 got drafted, and it was this
different.
Yeah.
It was almost a Messiah Savior complex that they put on Robert that I don't see them putting on Jaden. Right. It's more of, okay, thank you, great draft pick, now let's see what he got.
Yeah.
And with Robert, it was like,
but I ain't gonna lie, Robert came out explosive. So
no, he did. But I'm just saying, before Robert even played a down, it was like I said, this savior.
Yeah.
The other thing is, not to say that he had a bad practice. I actually thought he looked like, just to kind of hype this Messiah thing up even more. Thought he had a great practice outside those two throws. Like, he understands like where to go with the football. He understands progressions. He threw 2 excellent deep balls. One to Jahan that was awesome.
I saw that one, yeah.
Well, so everyone's talking about the throw.
Yeah.
Dude, I was stoked on Jahan.
Yeah.
Jahan.
Dude, the catch, he's always got the ball skills, but I don't know if it was on the clip, but in practice, I'm talking little double stick, arm through, working the shoulder. Remember how last year he kind of just run into that? And I just thought, man, that's a guy who's been on his craft.
He's been polishing the weak parts of his game.
The first thing when we had him in here the other day, the first thing he said, I said, where you was at? He said, I was down in Florida. And, I know a guy down there called himself Gold Feet. He's on Instagram. Anybody out there who's listening, if you got kids that want to be a receiver, send them to Gold Feet down in Fort Lauderdale.
That's a good name.
He is the real.
I'm going to say, I wish I had a pair of Gold Feet.
He is the real deal.
You got some pretty good shoes on today.
It's crazy to me how young these guys are now. It's another guy called himself Route Guard. Route Guard is pretty good too. He's another Florida guy, and you see where they going at Florida.
Yeah,
that's what we do down there. We cut grass down there.
I trained in Florida too, but you remember I had to get from out there. The nightlife was killing me.
But that's the first thing Dotson talked about, just going down there and putting the work in. And that's what it's about, man. When you're young, look. I was scared of that we was going to crown him too soon last year, how we talked so highly on Jahan. And I think he needed that season.
He needed to be humble.
I didn't want to see him go out there and not have a great season.
Kind of like your leg. Yeah. Like something to kind of say, hey, man, you got to work at this thing.
Bingo.
Right?
Bingo. So, I'm glad that you saw that. That shows you that he went out there and he got in the lab.
And again, it's one rep, but it's something that we didn't really see a lot of from last year. And you can tell that he's put some time in on it. And if there was one area that I thought his game was weak, it's dealing with getting off press, right? Yeah. And then dealing with contested catches. So
I've been saying, and I didn't think he challenged at the peak of the ball, the contested challenge. I thought his hands could be a lot stronger than they are. Because some guys, receiver-wise, we know if they touch the ball like this, all I need to worry about now is tackling. Like, I can't go through his arm because he ain't gonna let me get that ball out of there.
Yeah, so I guess what I'm saying is it was nice to see him, A, make a tough catch, really tough catch, and then B, the release and like working that element of his craft was awesome.
Making it happen.
Yeah, but Jahan looked awesome, or not Jahan. Jaden looked awesome, and again, it's the footwork, the timing. Like, I feel like he's signaling concepts to beat defenses. But the other thing I want to talk about with you, Fred, is like, holy cow, man, the defense and the personnel and their ability to kind of disguise coverages and then get to different stuff. Talk about how important, like, just
first of all, this the Joe Witt effect. Like, I tell when corners are playing. It's just me by myself. I got to survive, survival mode. Then it's, in this defense, I get to play some Jedi mind tricks with this dude. And that's what I'm seeing with the defense. I see him move. I see him moving on what we call moving on the screen. Yeah. That means we moving together. Yeah. Like, if my safety walking down.
Sometimes these dudes are just, like you talk about, like that's the old school. Everyone's on like sometimes I feel like it's just like someone throwing marbles at the floor. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, what are they doing? And you're like,
organized chaos is what we call it.
I love that.
And when you got veterans like a Frankie Louvu out there, and you got a Wagner that played similar defense defenses to this, and then you got Chin and the rest of these guys on the back end. They understand, all right, one, if I undress my coverage, we already beat. Mm-hmm. Two, if I don't know how to hide these certain things, I can't play my Jedi mind tricks with you. If I'm on the outside with Tanner and I'm press bailing because I know I'm really in cover 3, but I really want to show him, make him think I'm in true man. All right, well, I got to hold that press. All right, but guess what? I also need my safety to hold in the middle. All right, so it's these things where it's, can I respect you to be where I need you to be at, and can I be where I'm supposed to be?
That's like, you see I'm over here smiling. It's music to my ears, bro, because I literally sat in that press box week in and week out like, you showing me this right now? He finna get beat. You know what I mean? Like, it was nothing to the disguise part of it. It was just like, we here.
Self-preservation.
Come on, bring your offense. You know what I'm saying? So, being in this league for so long, bro, you know how hard it was for me to be at the line of scrimmage, watching the defense and watching that safety, trying to read what the hell he finna show me, and then pre-snap read, show me one thing, then the snap of the ball, they go fly out of there. I didn't see enough of that here, man, and I hated it. So I'm happy to hear you guys are seeing that. I'm happy that they're doing it, because when you watch Dan Quinn's defense over the years, when he was in Seattle, Atlanta, when
Cowboys,
the Dallas in those last 3 or 4 years, like, bro, that's what you saw. Even if they didn't have the best out there on the best, the defense as a whole was solid. You see what I'm saying? So you don't have to have these studs when you got a defense.
Yes. When you got
everybody's a stud when you got a team that's playing on one unison. Like when we one accord, we all a stud.
That's a really good way to put that. Yeah, you just made me think of a couple plays that I thought were awesome. Like there was one where like it looked like, I don't know the coverages, but it looked like box to me. They got a bunch, Tana, and they got that box coverage. Where it's
too
like,
low, too high.
The corner takes the first guy going out, takes the first guy going in, and they had like a spot concept on where the guy would sit right in the middle of the box, fastball.
Wow.
Right? And so that's what I thought. I was like, this should be stealing. But then they rotated the safety down. They pushed out. They got into cover 2, Tampa 2 in the red zone. And it was enough where you take away the spot. You got to double clutch the thing.
I would say you take the spot is what we want to take away first.
And it was really subtle, and it was pretty good, and it was enough where I was like, that got him. And you could tell
all
it
you
got
got to do
him.
is 1 second to think.
Dude. And then
long.
There was another one where Dominique Hampton was lined up on the right and held the disguise and basically became the half safety to the left. Like, talk about dropping marbles. Like
have to get there.
And you're just like, I don't know how you knew that. But you said organized chaos. Like, there's times where you're like, oh, like, and when you're watching, and again, this isn't just from me watching practice. This is like Dallas film. Is this. Right? We look like we're in man. Oh, we're in Tampa 2. Oh, it looks like cover 3. Oh, we're blitzing. We're in a zone pressure. Like
we cannot play fast on defense unless we all know what the real plan is. Like when we played for Greg Williams, it ain't no day we hit a field and we ain't know what our plan was. And our plan changes week by week. But I tell you what, when we hit them green lines, we are on fire. And you can tell, and I can always tell by the energy of a defense. I can tell because it's a group thing, man. Like, I know on offense, y'all can sometimes be independent contractors and really blossom. I don't think we can do that on defense because I can't do nothing without my D-line.
Definitely not to the extent. Like, you have to know the concept, especially running routes, or you know the run scheme and you have to fit in there, but you can put a little something down there.
You can.
But I feel like if defense is not, we're not all locked up,
it's going to fail.
Defense is all, to me, I think it's predicated on everybody's being on their guy. Being in there, playing the reading right. I see so many guys watching. I think it was a mic'd up section they had on ESPN or somewhere. I saw it on Instagram where they had a kid talking to another kid. They had a veteran talking to a kid like, bruh, let me know what you got going on, because we both gonna get cut. I'm telling you, you ain't telling me nothing, and I'm thinking you finna play this guy, and I'm
You're not giving me no information.
That was such a frustrating, like, it was so frustrating to watch.
Yeah, because you knew the young kid was in his feelings, and this guy's trying to tell him, like, bro, like, I'm just trying to communicate with you.
And here's this old head, like, I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you help me. And you're just like, I remember having the same conversation with like offensive linemen. Like, you're in the 3rd or 4th preseason game, you're playing against somebody who's maybe not going to make the team. You're trying to make the team, and you're like, listen to what I'm saying. I played for 8 years. You're a rookie. Like, trust me. Or do what I say. And some of those guys, and it just makes, because you, like, I felt for that guy, the veteran guy. I felt for him because I was like, oh no, you might not make the team because this guy's screwing him over.
It's simple stuff like, if my wide receiver off the ball, the first thing I do is alert my linebacker, watch for that crack. I don't know if he gonna crack. I just know he eligible to move. Now, when he starts to move, going back into the core, if I ain't saying crack, that linebacker never turn it. He'll never turn it. And now, guess what? He gets cracked by the wide receiver. I got to replace, so now I'm taking on the toss sweep by myself. Well, I just stopped from taking on that toss sweep by myself by just alerting a simple crack call. And there go the things that the communication.
Yeah, communication is key, man. And I think that's just one of the things that stands out when you have a defense that's playing on one accord. When you have that down pack, then we all gonna go out there and be successful and not gonna just be on one guy because we all know what's going on.
Yeah. So 2 things. One, this is like super nerdy question, and I don't really know what you're gonna answer. Is do you keep track of other people's OTAs, like when you're reading media tidbits, or does it not matter? Because sometimes I find myself being like, oh, Malik Neighbors had a touchdown in OTA practice.
I do.
Yeah, because you want to see, right?
I just want to see.
But it doesn't really matter, I guess.
It doesn't matter, but if you love football, you just want to see what's going on.
I often say with social media, I do a little more than I did before. I wouldn't go online looking. Social media, you can basically go and type in Carolina, type in whatever team it is, and see their little clip. So I do that way.
Yeah, and again, like it doesn't really matter, but it's also, it kind of just gets you excited.
I've been saying, this time of year, everybody's bubbling.
Yeah.
Everybody got a chance, all 32, to win the Super Bowl. And it's that time where it ain't a lot of news. Yeah. So therefore, if we get any news, Jaden Daniels just dropped the 80-yard touchdown. Woo! Everybody's cheering for that dude. Like, come on, you don't think people in Minnesota going crazy over J.J. McCarthy every time he completes a pass? Yeah. Like, it's that time, all right? So I expect it to be that way, but also this is the time championships are won to me. This is when teams come together. Like, I can always tell, like, I'm hearing out of Cincinnati, Jamar Chase not in the building. Higgins not in the buildings. Contract disputes. They made it to that point. Right? They done paid their quarterback. Now their roster getting tighter to keep together. So, it's good and bad all over the league right now.
I think as much as we want to tell the fans to kind of, I guess you can say, pump the brakes on getting too far ahead of yourself, is also, the fans is just like how we were back in the day. It's a different time. Back in the day, football came in July. It was already training camp. We didn't have a ESPN to watch. We didn't have a social media to watch. Football season was in. We was playing, and it was they show a clip and it's gone for 2 weeks. Until they play that preseason game. Now it's every day. It's something to look
football
up.
Football season is year round.
Yeah, you can't help but allow them to have that kind of joy that they have for their team.
And everybody like the new toys, the new shiny toys. They don't want to know about the old Chisel vet. Nobody want to know about Logan. Tell me about Daniel. Like, we don't know. They don't know any information about him.
Like, seen him yet.
Not in this uniform.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, and this is something I'm curious because I don't know how you guys, because it was a little different era. How did you guys treat OTAs? Like when you were playing? Were you like fit, ready to go, or were you getting in shape? Or were you?
It depends on which OTA it is. If it's their first OTA, some guys will be in shape, but not the best shape they're going to be in.
Yeah. No,
I was too naive to not know what to do.
I'm going to give you knuckles for that.
Out the gate, I kind of, blame that a little bit, my injury, but I kind of came in ready, you know what I mean? And then from there, I was like, okay, it's good to be ready. But when I saw the guys out there falling by the wayside and throwing up and can't make the little runs we had, I said, I don't never want to feel like that. And then later in my career, I took a break because I had them play so much.
Too much football.
I had a couple of runners who had worked for my agent was like, Tanner, now you always in that gym, man. Just rest. And I rest, and I wasn't myself. Right. And I'm like, see, I'm just not you, bro. And I got to keep doing what I do. So I prepared to be going full throttle come OTA. I don't want to have to be getting into the mode. You know what I mean?
You always had a new quarterback OTA, so you needed to get their relationship together.
New quarterback, new offense, you name it. I had so much going on, bro. I saw it all,
Yeah, but I think everyone here is like OTA, it's optional team activity. Like, I don't remember ever
missing one.
Not coming in and being like 100% ready to
I'm always there. I'm always going to be there.
It starts... It's going to sound crazy, but it starts the coach's evaluation process. Yeah. And as much as they say, it doesn't matter, like I remember watching dudes who weren't fit, and they weren't fit for 3 or 4 weeks of practice, so probably like 10 total practices, and they just haven't put good stuff on film. So they reshuffle the depth chart. They're the fourth guy. You're the third guy.
Yep.
All of a sudden you go into training camp, and then you make the team, and it's part of the piece. So just always be ready.
I think it's the going away and coming back part, and I think that's why it never bothered me, because unlike a lot of players, I didn't leave in the summer and go home. I just was home for me.
Home.
So I think it's the traveling too, because you go, you give yourself 2 weeks to take off. Your wife probably demanded some time. She gave you the most of the year.
Yeah.
So I think that then when you pop out of that, then it's right back into this. I think that's the thing that mentally kind of challenges players.
See, guys, so most of the guys who have a good routine.
Yeah.
They have a cutoff, and I think I had a great routine. I knew if I wasn't in the playoffs, or if I got knocked out of the playoffs soon fast, I'm going home, getting all that out my system. Come April 17th, whatever they say that report date,
My birthday.
I'm gonna be ready, because February 3rd or 2nd, or whenever the Super Bowl is over with, that's my first day of getting back in shape.
Yeah.
So when that Super Bowl is done, I'm back to grinding. And so by the time I hit April 17th, when they say reporting day, I'm ready. So, you got to have a routine, because you want to enjoy your off time too.
Yeah.
And when I got here, it was better that way, because I was comfortable with coming up here when I didn't have to be here. You understand? When I was in New York, I didn't want to
hated New York.
I didn't want to see New York until I had to be there. And but nah, man, but it's all about being a professional. You learn that over the years. You learn it over time.
April 17th, one of the best days ever, The day I was birthed, Santana Mama was birthed. It's the day Game of Thrones started. It's just so much.
It's a good day.
Yeah, it's a great day.
I got kind of a messed up story about being in shape. Do you remember in 13 we had that conditioning test where we had to run a half gasser and then we had the plank? Remember that?
Yes.
So I remember old Ray Wright was like, guys, we're getting ready for tomorrow. For first practice is the day after this. So if you guys feel like you can't finish, just tap out. We don't want anyone pulling any hamstrings, nothing like that. I was like, that is a trap. Yeah. That's a trap. That's a trap. That's a trap. Everyone pay attention. And he probably was being serious, but I'll tell you, two people, this was a hard, that was a hard conditioning
That was
test.
hard, bro.
Yeah, I remember my back was cramping up.
We did it in Richmond too.
Yeah, and it was hot.
Yeah.
So it was 8 down and backs, right?
Yeah.
But in between, you had to make it in 14 seconds.
14.
14.
Well, ours was much light. I think
yours
was
was
like 12.
12.
Yeah, yours was like 12. I was like 15, which is fast for me. And then you had 45-second plank, and then you had to get up and run your next one.
Yeah.
So there was no rest. You were just running the whole time. And so thank God I finished. My hamstrings all tight, my back's all tight, but I finished. 2 people didn't finish. 2 people got cut.
Oh, that's how it is. And they'll soften the blow and tell you, don't worry. Do not worry. Just because you can't play here, it's 31 more teams.
Hey, it's funny though. I remember, because it's that's year 13 for me, and I remember running mine, and I'm being in the front, and I don't know if it was Black or was this Chad, but they was like, Tanner, come on, man, you embarrassing these people out here. So I'm like, bro, I'm just standing in the pack.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to make sure.
You're just trying to make it.
Yeah, you ain't calling me out because I'm in the front. What you want me to be in the back? But it's just funny because they play those Jedi mind tricks with you just to see where you at mentally. You know what I mean?
Yeah, see is okay good enough for you.
Bingo. And man, look, man, I never took that stuff for granted. I just told you, that was year 13 for me, competing with all these young bucks. I'm up there leading the pack, but I never wanted to be first. I wanted to be right there because I wanted that second and third, win. When that last one hit, that last one was always tough.
They need to understand, after that conditioning test, we are just laying scattered on the grass. Y'all need to understand. Do y'all understand? We only have 13, the DBs and wideouts.
Hey.
Every time we look at our time, we don't even, I try not to even look. They be like, we're going to do 3 gas. I'd be like, we probably got to do ours in what? 10 seconds. Come on, dude.
Some of those receiver times were crazy.
3 strides, you already see I'm late.
Yeah.
And you can feel it.
You hear a number, you're like, damn, I'm gonna touch this line and come back.
I'm not gonna make it.
Want to know a wild story? Talk about Trent Williams. Remember? Trent. I remember one day he was messing around and someone was talking mess to him. He's like, I'll run the receiver times. And I was no.
Killing it.
And Trent made every receiver time. So half gasser, 12 and a half seconds.
Yeah.
That man weighed 330 pounds.
Yeah.
Trent
just like a deer. And I was looking out of the corner of my eye oh my God.
I'm not going to make it in this league. Now, that's why I tell people, the big dudes in the league, they are not fat. Like when you see that fat dude in the grocery store in Wegmans, you be like, he could have played football. No, he couldn't. He can't run. Right?
He can't move.
He can't move. So at the end of the day, these are big men.
Big athletics.
They have to like fight to keep this 300 pounds on them. I think people just see him and be like, yeah, my uncle, he probably could have played. He's 6'6", 300. No, your uncle stinks. Right?
Dude,
and it's up to me to tell you that.
The other one that was crazy, so Trent obviously very fast and athletic. I remember we got in a fight with a defensive tackle, big old defensive tackle. I think he was, I forget how, he was, I remember him being like 365 pounds. And so I got in there trying to break it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it felt like I was trying to break up a fight between my dad and somebody else. Like I couldn't get my arms.
You getting tossed
and
around?
I was just like, oh God. And I'm not a small person. You know what I'm saying? But I remember coming out of there, I was like, man, my elbow hurts, my fingers hurt.
I just got beat up.
Hey, we had a big brawl. Y'all see, this was the year before Tanner got here, I think. We was called the Jet Skins. We signed everybody from the Jets. Randy Thomas, AOC, and pretty boy Chad Morton. And I'd never forget, it was like the second practice. And Chitty tossed Chad a sweep or something. And I think he was trying not to go out of bounds, and he kind of like almost cut me low.
Oh, I see.
Oh no, you ain't gonna do that. we didn't got in like a 20-person brawl out there. And listen, I'm at the bottom of the they're just scraping to stay alive in there. You understand?
But you know what's funny about that? Everywhere Chad went, bro, he had these kind of altercations. Really? In the Jets, listen. I love Chad because he was a kick returner / punt returner like me. But it just was something about him. He was bougie. He was confident. But he was a different type of guy. Like if you had to compare Chad, I would say this is probably how the industry looked at Prince.
Yes.
A pretty guy.
Yes.
But Prince was not Prince was about his business. Prince would put hands on you.
Yeah. Not this Chad.
But Chad would fight. Chad would fight. But I'm just saying, like
I took him down through there.
I'm just saying, like the Chad I knew from the Jets.
Because he's so strong.
He always got tried. But he was ready. You see what I'm saying? But he was a pretty dude.
Yeah, but he would come in the locker room and look at an ugly dude and just. And then I'd be like, Chad, did you get your eyebrows arched? Yes. Like, then he walk in with this essence. I'm like, dude, did you a model?
He had a bottom. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like when he walked in the room, like his presence was felt, and it wasn't a good feeling.
It ain't a good
because guys look at him like,
name.
Man, why you got all them clothes on? He
Yeah, what are you doing?
He be fully dressed.
He in a suit.
Nice
I'm like, what are you doing? And then his brother Johnny Morton ain't nothing like him.
Yeah, Johnny was
totally different.
Yeah,
Totally different dude.
Johnny was MMA fighter after he stopped playing football.
Johnny was MMA.
Yeah.
Damn. All right.
Yeah, and Chad just probably modeled it.
Both of them, but look, don't get me wrong. I hear Smoot, but Chad's to fight you.
Yeah,
Chad,
he'll fight, but we got him. We got him.
So the ones that were always like the coldest were guys that didn't say anything.
Yeah.
It was just like, it's happening.
It's on.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember like Niles. Niles my guy. One of my favorite teammates of all time. I remember like anytime he'd be like, we're gonna fight, you know, and like everyone's like, oh come on, and Niles would just be like, ping, 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 and it's his hand on the face mask.
Yeah.
Like there was no like, no posture. It was like we're fighting, and the guy's like, no, we're not. And it was like, oh, check me out.
I've seen some of them fights that can't be broken up because we had one with LeVar. And another a linebacker.
Dude, it's crazy though.
And I couldn't break it up.
The thing I don't get is like sometimes they get their hands on each other and you're trying to break them up and then someone will grab you and it just turns into this.
And we just dragging each other.
Vortex of dragging people around. It's all kind of predicated on these
WCW.
Two people.
They had this whole I don't know this. It was like a folk tale, but it was real.
That's who we got to fight with.
That this guy KC Jones for the University of Miami. I think he was a big time lineman. I'm not sure if I'm saying that name right.
Can't wait for this story.
His whole tale was he got ready to fight somebody and he just grabbed his face mask, ripped it off his damn helmet, and they were like the fight was over. They say, boy, the coaches and everybody was like,
stop it before we start.
Listen, everybody in the locker room.
Do you remember Doug Worthington did that? You were here. You were here with that. So there was a big fight, like everyone was on each other, and there was a backup center, Mike McGlinchey, something like that. and little kind of squatty, you know, like dirty offensive lineman knows how to. And Doug was just this Adonis. He's 6'6", he's 330. He carries around a suitcase full of vitamins with him at all times. He looks like a door. This dude looked like a door. So he grabs Mike's face mask, I'm talking kind of like just shears the screws. Like it didn't pull the screws out of the fitting. Like the metal screw was sheared. And then in the meeting, our guy Jay was like, "Hey Doug, just remember there's a piss test on Monday, so let's make sure."
Oh, Daryl Gardner was like that.
Yeah, but just there's dudes that you're like,
just some dudes that, hey, you know what? I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you gotta be like, you know what? Not now. Not never
not
with
ever,
you.
Not ever.
Not with you. You gotta learn. That's why he moved in my house and I cook breakfast for him every day.
All right, and then all these names got me thinking. We were talking about last week. We were talking about NBA, NFL, and who could do both. I'm still staunchly in the camp that I don't think any NFL players could play in the NBA.
And I think you are full
I know you
of
are.
it.
I know you are. But you're also very confident. But what I thought would be a good idea, or Jason thought would be a good idea, is let's make a team.
The Jag.
Of guys that we think could play, that played in the NFL.
Yeah.
They could play in the NBA. We're going to make our starting 5 plus a bonus man with 6. So point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center. And I think it'd be good if we did a Commanders team and then maybe an NFL team.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I know what Fred's. I don't even have to see Fred's paper. I was going to say, who's going to be your point guard? That's a stupid question. I was going to say.
Me. All right. Russell Curry. Russell Curry is what they call me. Because I'm an athlete like Russell, but I shoot like Steph.
Man.
Russell Curry at the point guard, and I'm going to wear in a half. That's what I'm going to wear. 1/2.
I got Randall as my point guard.
Oh, I like
Randall
that.
he played in college.
And guess who was at college?
He played in college?
Yeah. No, he played in Indiana. You remember I told you I was going to Indiana? When I went for my trip, it was a dual trip. Football, basketball, and guess who was playing on both teams then? Redelaire was the point guard and the quarterback, and I was going to be able to play wide receiver, corner, and basketball. Yeah. Ex Redelaire, you know he a man of the Lord.
Why is everything he says sound like he's making it up?
I'm not. I'm not. I went to Bloomington on my trip.
Okay, all right.
So who you?
No, I got a question for you. If there's someone who could play point guard in the NFL right now, like you're like, this dude could play, like,
right now?
Yeah, if there's a guy you're like, circle him, he could do it.
All right. See, I ain't seen
point guard. You saying point guard?
Yeah. Like I'm thinking like Sauce Gardner, like somebody like that, like kind of that build. You know what I'm saying?
I think Sauce would be a 2.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Sauce would be
but
a
he's
2.
6'3".
I know it, but he got that length, the arms, like he'll be a jump shooter. Point guard, it's gonna have to be a quarterback. Like most time it's a
CJ Stroud.
Have you ever seen Pat Mahomes play basketball?
I can't imagine.
Flat out hooper.
Yeah, he a point guard.
Really?
Flat out hooper.
But I'm saying, is he athletic enough?
And it looks just like his football.
It looks just like his football. He out there wide hip.
Identical.
Listen.
Talking about the way he making shots, like it's like you be like
crossing people over. Hey, I think Geno Smith probably can hoop.
Yeah.
He looks like a thin hooper.
Yeah. Dude, the Mahomes thing is wild to me, though.
No, Mahomes can hoop. CJ Stroud look like he can hoop.
No, Mahomes would be a great point guard. I saw Mahomes play pickup game in the offseason.
I saw him play in high school.
He can be a great point guard.
I feel like, he could did it.
All right, so now we're on to shooting guards for the Commanders.
I'm gonna go with D Hall.
I been say D Hall was on my paper. D Hall can hoop.
Can he hoop like that?
Yeah, man. D Hall used to hoop all the time in Lifetime. D Hall.
I know he's a great athlete.
No, he can hoop, but I'm taking Jason Campbell.
Go D Hall.
Is it 2?
Jason is 6'5", 6'4".
I know he's a big guy.
Yeah, and Jason had a basketball scholarship coming out of Mississippi when we were younger. He was a three-star athlete.
I'm saying D Hall or Malcolm Kelly. Malcolm Kelly was
Malcolm Kelly.
Could he hoop a little bit?
Yes, Malcolm Kelly could hoop.
He can hoop.
See, that's the thing with me. I would say Jordan Reed for my 2.
Oh, I forgot about
Jordan. He had my 3.
Jordan.
That's my small
dude, I just think I want him touching the ball more.
Yeah.
You know?
He definitely, in basketball terms, he have to be a 2 because he's not as tall as a 3 would be in the NBA.
Yeah, but he's strong.
He's strong. Yeah. But the other thing is, everybody that I played with said they could play basketball, and he's the only one that could actually play basketball.
Trent could hoop.
Nah, Trent could hoop.
So he's gonna be on my list for sure.
My small forward.
He's on my list for sure.
Yeah,
but I'm saying
he ain't small.
All right, around the league, who we got?
Basketball. Compared to them guys in basketball.
Around the league, who we got for a 2 guard?
Around the league now.
I got your boy DK Metcalf. Ooh. Y'all saw him play?
Can hoop.
Y'all saw him play?
Yeah, him and Myles Garrett.
Dude, he's just so strong.
He is for sure my two.
See,
I want
DK,
all that athleticism.
See, DK remind me of T.O. You know, T.O. used to play basketball now. T.O. could flat out hoop, and DK can most do it.
I was going to say
A.J. Brown.
A.J. Brown.
I was going to say Julio Jones. Like, when I was with him in Atlanta, dude, that guy is just, he can jump, he can run.
You know who could do all that too? Odell Beckham. He just a hell of an athlete, bro. He can.
Randy Moss too. Yeah, Randy can flat out hoop.
He just do whatever.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, I like that. Randy Moss, that'd be sick.
Yeah.
All right, small forward, who we got?
I got Trent.
Trent. So I thought Trent may be power forward.
But I thought so too. For us, he's a power forward. But if you put him against a basketball guy,
he's 6'4".
They'll be so much bigger than him.
Yeah, I'm saying get him down there in the paint. Let him.
Yeah, he gonna be Big Baby Davis in the paint now.
No one's gonna move from a strength standpoint.
But he'll be shorter than the average,
just like Charles Barkley.
But let's get him. We're gonna play positionless football here. We got to, right? We got our positionless basketball. We're gonna spread them out, but we need somebody in there to bang around a little bit.
I got what you're saying.
Could you imagine him and like Victor Wembanyama? Like
he'll be pushing Victor out the door.
But I'm saying Victor Wembanyama's arms are like as long as this room.
Yeah,
you know
I understand.
It's just like
I understand. Rod Gardner. My homeboy that got drafted with us.
Yeah.
Oh, he can hoop.
Yeah.
He might couldn't catch a football. But let me tell you this.
He just won the Amazing Race, right?
Rod Gardner.
No, he just won the Amazing Race.
Yeah.
He's built like
Yeah,
Adonis
You
right
sent me
now.
a picture of him, and I was like, "This guy
Rod
is not
Gardner
real."
actually had a 1,000-yard season our second year in the league, so he can catch. It just,
but he would drop so many
system.
balls.
He got a system where they start feeding other people, and his trajectory of things that he was
mojo
doing
it changed. But Rod Gardner can flat out hoop.
How about around the league? I was thinking like Calvin Johnson or something like that.
Oh, Calvin Johnson, the Megatron?
Yeah. 2, 3.
Put it like this. Every receiver ever played for Detroit, Roy Williams. Call them all. I remember one time I played against Detroit, and Charles Rogers was the slot receiver at 6'4".
Really?
Roy Williams was 6'5".
Give me your boy. Go ahead, finish.
No. Roy Williams 6'5". So they had like all these tall first round picks now. Huge wide receivers. I think Dez Bryant could be a good basketball player.
Give me Gates.
I was gonna say Gates.
Antonio Gates. That's easy.
Or Tony Gonzalez.
I would say, let me just go Gonzalez then.
Or
Jimmy Graham.
Jimmy Graham. Well, don't forget about the DE in North Carolina.
Peppers.
Julius Peppers.
What are we doing? He's got to be the forward though, right?
Yes, Peppers in there.
I also say, I would have said Andre Johnson, but small forward, I probably would have put him more of a shooting guard.
Andre Johnson?
But,
Can he play?
Oh, yeah. He went to high school to play basketball. His high school was the team that won national championship in Miami like almost every year. They had UD there. They had a lot of guys that went pro and Dre was there as a basketball player. The football coach said come out for the football team. So he never practiced with the football team.
Charlie Ward.
For sure.
Charlie Ward. I take Runner Curry. Y'all forget about Runner Curry while y'all tripping. Like Runner Curry was a bigger recruit than Michael Vick when they came out of Virginia.
Yeah.
Yes, Runner Curry.
Well, see, that's the thing about Michael Vick. He was not highly sought out coming out of high school, but by the time he got and played in college, shit, who is this? Who is this kid?
All right, so small forward. We're kind of running out of people here.
No, not really.
It's hard to fill a roster. Power forward. Who we got?
I got LeVar Arrington.
Really?
LeVar.
Why? Tell me why.
Who?
First of all, LeVar got a 40-plus inch vertical, and you know he's 6'3".
So you got LeVar Arrington. I got my man Abraham. From Johnny Abraham,
From the Jets?
From the Jets.
Yeah, old John.
Played in Atlanta with you too. I think he was there by that time. He was.
What about Drake Carter?
Oh, he just left.
What about Andre Carter? I think Drake
he ain't hooping. No,
Drake just ain't got it.
Boy, Drake Carter. Hey, Drake Carter, boy, he stiff as all I
know. Dude,
he's tall enough, but he ain't hooping like that.
Guys that I played with, like it's just so hard because this position in the NBA is such a unique body type. You know what I'm saying? It's like you need a guy who's like 6'7".
But get what? Go against the norm. Charles Barkley is against the norm.
I know, but
Baby Dave is against the norm.
And we're not in this whole debate. These guys can go and play.
No,
we just saying this is the team we would make. So I just want to get that clear before people are like, oh, you think those guys can? Because we'll get a little bit of that back.
But I remember when I first got in the league, the NFC East used to meet and hoop in the summertime.
I remember you talking about
and we used to do it all the time, dude, in Dallas. So we used to literally go at it, man, like all the time. And guys could hoop way better than you thought they could.
Yeah, I don't know if I played with anybody who would be like a good power forward, honestly.
Say powerful.
Brad Johnson, BJ.
Brad Johnson.
BJ was a hooper.
I want to say like Myles Garrett for this.
Yeah,
for
Myles
like,
Garrett.
That's easy for Myles Garrett.
Or like Peppers would be the other one I'd say here. In terms of I played with, I feel like is there an offensive lineman that is like just crazy? Like Penei Sewell? Like would he be a good one?
Chris Samuels.
No, Chris got them sugar ankles.
Nah, but Chris
Sugar ankles.
Yeah, you know, like them sugar ankles like
Chris
that
can
be in
hoop,
church.
though.
Now, Chris ain't no hooper. The hooper.
Such a hater.
He
No,
ain't like Chris like that.
No, ain't that just like saying Big Man McKinney a hooper? No, some of them, they can play tackle. They cannot play basketball.
Did you play
up,
basketball,
man.
McKinney?
No, Big Mac just huge.
Nah,
Man,
nah.
Big Mac is huge. I think people don't understand how big that dude is, man.
B-Mac ain't playing no damn.
He ain't gonna play no ball. Now, I think you can find some tight ends, period, that'll be good power forwards.
Oh, Crumpler.
Tight end.
Crumpler definitely be a
Algie?
Algie Crumpler.
Put that butt on him in the post. Oh, listen, tight ends can get the job done. We already brought up Jimmy Graham.
Yeah.
We're like, tight ends can get the job done. They rougher than basketball players. They're gonna be stronger than basketball players.
But who would you pick, like from Washington? Like who are the tight ends?
We already said Jordan Reed is probably the best.
I mean,
All right. What's the name right now? Let's go on the roster right now. All right.
Oh,
Cole Turner, probably like a hooper.
Easily you could have got your boy who just was here last year, 82.
82? Oh, Logan Thomas.
Logan Thomas. Easy.
Logan Thomas, most definitely.
Yeah, easy.
What about the other kid we got?
Curtis Hodges.
Curtis Hodge, not Curtis Hodge, but the other.
Armani Rogers.
Money Rogers.
Yeah.
He,
He look
like, he
like a
can flat
basketball
out
player.
hoop.
Yeah.
All
he
right.
like a basketball
And the
player.
wide receiver, 89.
Tremaine.
Tremaine.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 6'5", though. That's the thing. Basketball players are so big.
Bro.
So big. So, yeah, not really a good answer for power forward. How about center? We got anybody for center?
Because now it's all about strength at the center. It ain't about.
Nah,
Strength.
They got more centers shooting free balls
And
than
that's the problem. And that's the reason why my Timberwolves losing, because we can't get Big Cat to get in the post.
Yeah.
He want to shoot through threes all day.
Yeah, Sugar Cat can't do all
We
that.
need him in the post with Rudy Gobert.
Sugar Cane. That's what I
Yeah,
call it.
we can't do nothing with him.
What about like Trent Brown, the tackle for Cincinnati? He's 6'8". He's like 400 pounds.
What about Thanos?
To get him out there.
I'm just saying. Like, come on now. And we seen the dude, right?
But
For North Carolina State, the basketball player.
Who that?
The 300-pounder.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
God. What's
And
his
you know,
name?
they say a couple of NFL teams called him.
Yeah.
And he done lost 75 pounds for the NBA draft. So his body looks totally
Really?
different right now.
Wow.
So they go a football player playing basketball right there if you really want to know.
He look like Big Z. What the dude name was who played in
Zach
Memphis?
Rudolph. Zach Randolph.
Zach Randolph.
Yep.
He remind me of him.
Yeah, I don't know. Center? London Fletcher? I don't know. I have no idea.
No, London. We're gonna bring London
Who's
man.
on your paper for the Commanders for the center?
Y'all blew mine off and said Drake Carter can't play no basketball. y'all said Drake. I gotta get somebody that's rough like this. Drake comes off as Dennis Rodman.
Yeah,
I'm only here to rebound
That's
and
all
foul.
what he be doing.
What about
too.
like Morgan Moses?
Is he nimble enough?
No.
I hoop with him sometimes.
Is he nimble enough?
Yeah, he's pretty nimble.
Oh, okay, well you know something that I didn't know.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So guys like that, maybe, and I'm telling you, LeVar, hell of an athlete, man. Length. Okay, I got the perfect guy. Plexico Burrs.
For the center?
As a senator?
Plex 6'6", man.
Yeah, but
I know,
that's
but put him at the-
Plex finesse. He a receiver. He ain't trying to get down there and bang with nobody.
Plex
down
ain't
there.
small.
No, but he ain't banging like
Yeah.
that. Plex was like this now.
But
at one
Plex
point
also
in time.
played
If
basketball
we're
now.
just talking body type, then Johnny Wilson, that guy from Philadelphia.
Easy.
Dude.
Easy.
Looks like a ball player.
Yeah, I hope he don't ball out there. I wanted us to get him, then I was gonna hope he balled out, but now I don't.
All right, so 6th man, who we got?
London Fletcher.
London Fletcher, my 6th man.
London Fletcher?
CeeLo Green coming off the bench.
Did he play in college?
He played in college. Yeah.
London can flat out
He went to
hoop.
school.
Now I know
He
he
went to-
used to hoop before
went
he
to-
got that dad
He
bod.
went to school to play basketball.
But he could hoop now.
Dude,
London
if he'd probably be my point guard, man.
No, not really.
Just
Not with me out
gritty.
there.
Just gritty and tough.
Not with Russell Curry out there.
I feel you. I feel you 100%. I like London, period. I told him he was trying London to my 6th man. I just put him in 6th man because I use Randall L.
He was trying London. He was always trying
You know,
London.
he always got an agenda when it comes to London.
No, I don't.
So, yeah, I don't know if we came up with a good team. So we got Fred Smoot,
It really ain't good.
Jason Campbell,
We got D-Hall too. We got
Jordan
guys.
Reed, power forward. I forget who we said for power forward.
LeVar.
LeVar, and then the center we didn't really have a good one. Oh, Trent.
Trent Williams.
That's not bad. That's not a bad starting five. And then Lennon, that's all right.
Them boys ain't gonna win no games.
Yeah, it depends on that we playing the Cowboys. And who they got? The Giants? Who they
They
got?
ain't winning no games. You hear me?
Philadelphia?
But like, that's what I'm saying.
Everybody's size. Everybody has a size deficiency.
That's what I'm saying. Is there any? I can't even think of one person of this list that is even close to making an NBA roster. Even
No,
close.
exactly.
Like even like Myles Garrett.
Yeah, exactly.
Myles Garrett would make it.
Nah, he ain't making that shit.
That man's like
He gonna
270.
be in the G League.
Yeah.
Doing all them
Yeah.
dunks and being
Yeah.
strong.
But think about it. If he was in basketball, he wouldn't be trying to be the biggest.
Yeah.
He wouldn't. He
I think
wouldn't.
he just
He just big like
just
that. He
big.
ain't trying to be big.
No, I understand. Some kids just come out big.
Yeah,
I
he's just a
understand
big
it.
old hoss, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
but
can you name me one person, one player in the NFL that could play in the NBA right now? One.
first of all, I promise you, it's hundreds of them.
Hundreds?
Hundreds.
I ain't trying to be in that argument.
Stop it, dude.
You know me,
Hey,
bro.
Stop it, dude.
Hey,
I'm
you
not
gonna be
trying to-
shocked. Let me tell y'all this
I
guy.
don't know.
This guy probably
That's why
can't
I'm
play
not-
no football, but he can hoop.
Who?
That's a good point.
Daniel Jones,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
quarterback for the Giants. Listen to me.
What are
Have
you
y'all not
talking
watched
about?
this dude shoot basketball?
No.
All right, watch this
How
pre-draft.
have you watched him shoot
Well, how
basketball?
I don't know how I can't pass this clip of
How
him
can
doing
you-
360
How
dunks.
can you say he can't
He can't play no quarterback.
He can't play. Shit,
He can't play no
He
quarterback.
does every time.
Yeah, I know it. He can play
Twice a
two
year.
weeks a year. But what I'm saying is, Daniel Jones can flat out hoop.
But is it
hard
is
for me
it
to see.
NBA hooping?
It's NBA. Let me tell you something. T.O. could have played in NBA. I'm telling you now. Terrell played in college too.
Yeah, I know
He
T.O.
can
There's a
hoop.
lot of dudes that play in college that can't play in the NBA.
Well, guess what? Charlie Ward said, you know what? Forget football. I'm going to go hoop for the Knicks. And he did it.
That's one guy.
Come on.
Come on.
I just told you I don't want no
I
part
know.
of
Yeah, I
that.
keep looking at you like I'm going to get support from you, but all right. So, okay, a couple things to leave in the comments. First off, what's your starting five from Commanders and from around the NFL? 2, is there one player you can think of from
Devontae Adams.
from a height, weight, speed standpoint that could play in the NBA? Please leave a comment. Can't wait to hear, and we'll read the best answer on the next show.
DK Metcalf.
That's going to do it for DK Mecca. That's going to do it for today's show. Thanks so much for joining us, and please make sure to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And if you want to see our ugly faces, check us out on YouTube. Thanks so much.
Smith.
That's it.
Peace.